Yeah, good afternoon from my side. It's already a year past since I last year stand on the stage talking about TV. A lot happened, and I think the audience gets broader and broader each time. So Marco, very thanks for this conference. I think it's a must-have conference in Europe these days, so we all look forward that you save us some travel time next year. We can go to Berlin, it's a shorter way. Let me talk about how TV creates $1 billion companies. Obviously, like Philip mentioned it, that's a very bold statement. And obviously, we all are aware that the most important things are good entrepreneurs and good products. But together with these two topics, I think we learned in Germany that TV can really make the difference to create markets and create market leaders. So I'd like to spend the next 15 minutes telling you a little bit about the strategy from ProSieben, then how TV works, and then giving you a small outlook what will happen in the next years. So if you look at digital at ProSieben, and that's probably also one proof case that TV works because all we do is leveraged by our TV advertising. We have tripled our revenues from 200 to 600 and are on our way in the next 4 years to achieve €1 billion in revenues. And if you apply there the multiples in the market, I think our digital business in itself, it's already $1 billion company, and this was driven by TV. And we have followed two strategies. On the one hand side, we build our own businesses, where we have majority, we partner with entrepreneurs, and then leverage the skills we have, the assets we have in TV to create digital businesses and make us less dependent on TV advertising. On the other side, we use our TV advertising and the digital skills we have to invest in companies and help great entrepreneurs and great products to become market leader and create a lot of value. I'll tell you a little bit later how this works. And here an example about our current portfolio. Our digital portfolio is based on 4 verticals. Video, obviously, because we have huge skills with the TV operations. AdVOD and PayVOD, we have market-leading assets. Games, it's a new business we entered. We are now number 3 in Europe. And also travel, our first big e-commerce asset where we acquired 5 companies and now build a cluster. And that's a very important point of our strategy. We don't focus on one company, but we want to have a group of companies, a cluster, in one cluster to then also benefit from synergies within the cluster. One important one is data, but many others are functional topics that companies can share so that we can add even more value than just TV, but also specific assets the companies can share within a cluster. And these assets together has roughly now $500 million in revenues. They're growing very dynamically, faster than their markets, winning shares. So I think it's a very good platform for us to enter our own digital business. And at this point, I always have to make one short question. Who of you knows Maxdome? And who uses Maxdome? Oh, that's bad. It hasn't improved from last time. Who's using Netflix? Ah, okay. So we still have to improve the product, obviously, because marketing is there. Okay, we're working on it. The other topic is our investment size, and there I think in the end, we invented media for equity. So media for equity is nothing else than we just give companies that can't afford to buy TV advertising, we get a small, we call minimum guarantee, and the rest in equity or revenue share. And thereby we have the same incentive target with all the entrepreneurs to grow their business. And that's a model that has been now used by more than 60 companies. We already have realized 6 exits. And as Philip said, the market maker for media for equity and media for revenue in Germany was Zalando, where the management team very early has decided to invest very aggressively in TV and also in online to create a market leader. And they did it quite successfully, as we could have seen in the last weeks, where they had a nice IPO in Germany. And that's probably now the largest billion-dollar company that was made by a great product, by a new product, but also by a very aggressive and very, very good TV campaign. As I said before, all we do is related to our business. We don't believe that we just can invest in the company and are the best investors. I think that the KKRs, as Philip pointed out, are much better. But we are very good if the companies can leverage the toolbox, as said, that we can offer to digital startups. One is obviously TV advertising, but there are more. We have content we can give to these startups to enhance their offering. We can sell their advertising to much higher prices than anybody else. And we can also find new revenue models that enhance the P&L, in particular the bottom line for all the startups we are in. And this probably is the biggest asset we have if you combine the TV power that we can't sell in our traditional TV advertising market is roughly $1 billion. So we have $1 billion worth of gross media that we can invest in our own companies and in other companies to create market leaders. And that's really a huge asset and a unique asset that only we have because we learned in the past that TV and digital works very well, and I will tell you why that's the case. If you look at all the different medias, I think TV is unique in at least 4 topics. One, it's the only medium where we can create reach in a very, very short period of time. And that's important in the hyper competition today, is that startups become the category leader, the market leader, very fast. And secondly, TV can also can deliver emotions, can build trust. And this is also another very important point, in particular if you want to build a brand that's also unique to TV. These together is the strength of TV and the unique media effectiveness of TV. If you look at the numbers I just pointed out here, you see how big still TV is compared to all other digital media. If you take the 2 dimensions, reach and usage, you see that TV, private TV, is much, much bigger than the whole internet, and even much, much bigger than all the other great internet companies we are all aware of. And here you see exactly the dimension. If you want to reach a big group of people very fast and build a brand, you simply need TV. All the other digital media is not enough to build that big brands, and that probably has now also been learned in Germany for most e-commerce assets. And also an interesting topic, and that's unique for our channel group. ProSieben is kind of the TV channel for the young generation, for the internet generation. What you see here is that the people that heavily using internet, YouTube, are also very heavily watching TV. So it's the same audience. That's why if you just add up the incremental reach we can achieve by using YouTube, it's very, very low. And that's also driven by the fact, if you look in the YouTube traffic, 8% of the users of YouTube account for 2/3 of the traffic. So it's a very, very small portion of people you can only get in the internet world, and that's why you need TV to get the broad audience. But it's not easy. I mean, you can do a lot of mistakes if you do a TV campaign, and that's why over the last 4 years we built a toolbox of knowledge, systems, and skills to really do TV in the right way, to get the spot in the right way, to do the campaign good, to align online and offline, to measure the campaign, to have good ROI measures, because you always have to learn what went wrong, what went good, to then adjust your TV campaign. And that's very important in particular because, as I said before, you reach a broad audience very fast, so you have to make sure that your campaign is good and you also leverage the TV impact in the online world. And what we also do going forward, that's a technical picture, but we'll all combine all data we have from our audience, from the TV impact, from the online world, and build a kind of own 7 data mart that will in future even makes us more capable to doing great campaigns and increase the impact of TV media. And we all believe that data, knowledge about customers, their buying behavior, their preferences, will make TV even more successful going forward. And here you see some KPIs, how effective these toolbox now work. 100 was kind of the benchmark when we started the campaign. And you see that by 30% we were able to improve the effectiveness measured only on short term, in particular, how much does it cost to get one visit. And that's a huge, huge improvement if you also consider how much it costs to do a TV campaign. And this, I think, is a unique asset that we only have because we understand best how TV works and how you do have to do effective campaigns. A few other examples how TV works, and that's a very, very good example that you see here because TV does 2 things. A, it builds a market, and B, it gives our asset a market edge. In the gift market here for MyDays, you see the market was growing only with 8%, MyDays with 2%. After we entered the market, the whole market growth went up to 20%, and our asset has grown by almost 30%. So by now, we are the market leader in that segment. The market gets bigger because a broader audience understands the market, and we get market leadership. Same holds true for travel, a market which is really decreasing this year, but Wegner, our asset, has a very, very dynamic and strong growth. The other example is Zalando, I think well aware of everybody. They were the first guys in 5 years ago entering a very, very tight partnership with us, where we bring them in a very good TV campaign. They had a great spot, and they had a great product. And now they had €1 billion exit in Germany, and we assume that many others will follow from the rocket universe. And going forward, we believe TV will become even more effective, because currently it's a linear TV, you can't interact with the TV set. But in the future, you will be able to interact with the linear signal, with smart TVs. You can use your mobile device as a second screen. So many, many more interaction points where you can direct interact based on a TV campaign and purchase topics or get more information. So we believe going forward, TV will even be a better tool to improve your shopping experience and to increase revenues. Last but not least, what's our vision for the future? Obviously, we'll continue with the media and the cash investments, but we also want to copy what we did in Germany to Europe. And therefore, we engage in a media alliance with other broadcasters around Europe. They face the same problem, and they have the same asset. So by now, we have the opportunity to help our entrepreneurs, our startups, to also enter other European markets in the same concept they know from Germany, without a new person they have to talk to, a new negotiation they have to do. We can take care as a kind of key account to bring companies together with our partners internationally. And what we learned in the US, when people are now more and more ready to enter Europe and Germany, they still lack the operational resources, they don't know which PR firm to use, they don't have people on the ground. So we have now also expanded our model to a kind of entrepreneur of choice, where we want to offer companies all resources they need to enter Germany, and then they can take some time to build up the operations and then have a very nice and easy start in Germany. And we can support with our media campaign another successful digital startup to enter Germany and also Europe. That's what I said, the media for equity, so importer of choice. So that's the whole toolkit kind of you need to enter a country successfully. I have one example in a second. And the other one is our European Media Alliance with now 6 countries, and we just also signed Antenna from Greece. So we have 7 broadcasters that now can offer you as a European company, but also US companies, a very nice and easy market entry in Germany. And one example was Shopkick. It's a mobile loyalty program from the US, which we contacted 1.5 years ago and convinced them, why don't they enter Germany? And so we did it in a way that they give us their technology, but we built the whole team. We used our network to get retail contracts in 6 months. We created a campaign. We gave them PR, HR. We put 4 people on the ground to build their business. And now within like 6 months, they are there. The spot is launching last week. And by now, they have already realized their exit. They sold their company to SK, a Korean telecom company. And obviously, the proof point that they have entered Germany successfully might have also increased their valuation. So win-win for both parties. They could focus on the US to become market leader there. And we helped them in Germany to get their foot in the European market. And now with the European partnership, we're working on taking Shopkick internationally. And now I think after my presentation, we'll have the first event which we have together with our broadcasting partners, the 7 Venture Pitch Day, where we have devoted 7 million in TV media, European-wide, for 7 companies that pitch for it, and they get then a marketing campaign to bring their company European and make the company more successful. That's my small pitch for Media for Equity and the digital story of ProSieben, and I thank you.